and gentlemen, welcome to another fragrance review on the Robes 08 channel. I am your host, Mark, the Fragrance Guru. Today, a special review. This is actually a re-review, yes, a revamped review on a fragrance that I've reviewed in my rookie year, 2009. Man, that was a rough reviewing time for me, but it was a good time though. Now this is of course from the designer house of Givenchy, and this fragrance right here, Homme Blue Label. Now back in the day in 2009, this was actually one of my exclusive reviews on YouTube when I first started. No one reviewed this set on YouTube. Now I'm looking on YouTube again, and it looks like no one else has actually reviewed this in English actually. So again, I'm the only one actually speaking about this scent. So really I think it's one of the underrated Givenchy fragrances. So let's get into a few clips. I like to do this when I revamp a review. Let's go take a look at the old review. A couple clips here and there, a couple highlights, and then you'll come back to me with the revamp review. Let's go. Now my review today is actually on Givenchy Homme Blue Label. More of a spring and summer scent. So it is more of a fresh fragrance. Since the grapefruit note does slightly undertone the woody dry down, like I said earlier. And it's inoffensive, so it can be worn as an everyday or an office type. So now, if you do want to get something mainstream, which is aquatic, but is slightly different from all those other ones, then I would definitely recommend this. So if you want, you know, you're looking at the Aqua di Gios, the Bulgaria Aqua, this would actually be slightly different. Homme Blue Label, I would give it a rating of an 8 out of 10. Hey, welcome back in HD. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the few clips here and there from my 2009 review. But today, we're tackling the revamped version. I'm going to let you guys know what I feel about this fragrance. We'll see if my opinion has changed quite a bit, or is it around the same for Blue Label. Again, it was one of my earliest fragrance reviews, so it might have changed. It's 5 years ago. So the lack of reviews on this set on YouTube really astounds me, to be honest with you guys. I'm really, when I typed it in before I do a review, I always check out if there's any reviews on it on YouTube to see who's done a review on this scent, and lo and behold, all you see is my beautiful little mug. And then there's a review, not in English, but it really astounds me that not too many people are talking about this fragrance. It's a designer release from a house that's fairly popular. I think it's one of the better releases in the lineup, to be honest. I think it's a decent release from the house. And I really, really hope this revamped re-review on this fragrance will get a lot of noses on this one with this review. I hope that it pique your interest. Givenchy's a house, to be honest with you guys, isn't one of my favorite fragrance houses. They really do constantly release pretty solid fragrances. You can see back here, I own quite a few of their fragrances. A lot of them are fairly decent. You're going to see scores of like 6, 7, 8, perhaps even 9s, but there's not really anything that really blows my mind with the house of Givenchy. It's really just a solid fragrance house to me. And as you can see, the juice level on these guys, not really low, except for Pie. I really love this fragrance right here, and Plain Tense is one of my favorites too. But other than that, very solid lineup, but nothing, you know, really crappy, but nothing super amazing. Pie is up there though. But either way, just my thoughts on the house of Givenchy as a whole. But of course today we're spotlighting this guy right here. Blue Label was released back in 2004, so it has been on the market for quite a while now. Parfumier, it's a two-headed monster. We got an all-star Parfumier, an all-star nose, Alberto Morealis. Now Morealis has an all-star nose in our community. His name has been attached to a lot of great fragrances in the designer game, and of course niche. He's done many Givenchy's in the past, including their best-selling Pie, which is right behind me here, among others. He's done quite he's got a library, I'll tell you that. Now Morealis had some help on this one. The second nose attached to this fragrance was Eliash Ermenditis, a resume not as impressive, of course, as Morealis, but of course they did a very good job with this fragrance, I would have to say. Now this is actually a flanker to the original Homme. It had like a I don't know if it was a red or a maroon-like top. Of course, this is just a one-piece bottle, so it's not an actual top, but it's the top part of the fragrance that has like a maroon or reddish. And this is kind of cumbersome for travel use. The sprayer's right here, and you can't really cover it. It does have like a little groove, but other than that, kind of cumbersome for travel use. Now, let's get into bottle sizing, pricing, and all that good stuff. All right, guys, let's take a look at presentation. And as you can see here, I don't have the full presentation with me. No, I don't have a box for my put on Blue Label, unfortunately. Do apologize for that. The concentration of this fragrance is an eau de toilette. Bottle sizes vary from the 1.7 ounce little bottle to the big bottle, the 3.4 ounce standard sizing. This guy right here is actually the big one at 3.4 ounce. Retail pricing American, you're looking at around $40 to $70 American. And as I always say, shop around, look around. This fragrance has been around for a while. I'm sure you can find a deal online on this fragrance. And the one thing that you do notice with this bottle when you first pick it up is this is a massive bottle, to be honest with you guys. And it is only just a one piece. So there's no cap to this. And as you can see, there's a small groove right here for the sprayer. But for travel use, that might be cumbersome for some people. It'll spray in your bag. But really unique bottle presentation, I would say. Really a classic vibe to it. It's not very modern or anything crazy. It says Givenchy put on right here. You're going to have some information at the bottom of the bottle right here etched into it. And the sprayer of this fragrance, this bottle, the one piece, actually, as you can see, she mists. Not bad. No problems with the sprayer. Now guys, let's get into the review of Blue Label. Now let's take a look under the hood of Blue Label. Let's go split screen. And as you can see beside me, we got some fresh notes. We got bergamot, grapefruit, lavender, artemisia, very fresh notes. But then we got some darker notes. We got some spices, pepper, cardamom, and then some woods, of course, vetiver, cedar, and olibanum, of course, incense. So major notes to my nose with this fragrance. You'd have to say that grapefruit is a major factor in this fragrance, and pepper. Those are your two major factors. Now lavender is a secondary note, but it is there, so I put it in the major notes. So very fresh with a little bit of spice. That's really what my thinking is going to be, because those are the major notes to my nose. Group, fresh, spicy fragrance. Yeah, that's a good group. How many sprays and where? I go 5 sprays with this guy. 1 on the chest, 2 on the neck, right here, right on the pulse points, and 2 on the arms, 1 on each side. I'm set. I'm good to go 5 sprays with this one. Now let's spray some on my hand. Let's go with it. Sprayer's decent. And this fragrance, right off the bat, it's going to be fresh, I'll tell you that. Yeah, it's got a very familiar, grapefruit's very familiar to my nose, just because a lot of designer releases use grapefruit, especially recently, as their introduction, because it's very uplifting, very easy to love, definitely. Alright, so right off the bat, Givenchy put on Blue Label is familiar, very much familiar. That grapefruit note is, you know, if you smelled a lot of designer fragrances, it's going to remind you of a lot of fragrances. That grapefruit top is very popular, especially recently. But also, Blue Label kind of gives you a unique edge at the same time. I really like what they did with this opening. You get that familiar, juicy grapefruit that are in many top-selling designers right now in the men's section. It's fresh. The grapefruit, always fresh, easy to wear, easy pleaser, and easy to love. Really just a note that's peppered in a lot of our fragrances recently. Now at the same time, you get a little bit of edge, a little bit of kick to the fragrance with the black pepper. Now the black pepper hits you immediately with the grapefruit, so you're going to smell a little bit of pepper coming up, and it's going to morph into being a primary note in this fragrance. Slowly but surely it's coming up. Now your grapefruit's your main player, but your black pepper's coming up, so you're going to smell it right off the bat. Now the black pepper is not a bomb per se. I know a lot of fragrances that are bomb as far as black pepper in the designer game. Off the bat, I'm trying to think here. Burberry, The Beat for Men, Pepper, Bang by Marc Jacobs, lots of pepper in that. This is not that kind of scent. The pepper in here is not a bomb. It's very well meshed into the other notes, well done, a good balance to this scent. But it does give it a little bit of edge, which I really, really liked. It makes this scent not just your stereotypical opening. that you get in a lot of designers today with just that grapefruit opening. I liked that they gave it a little bit of edge in the opening. Now the pepper has some kick to it, a little bit. It might ruffle your nose if you don't like black pepper at all in your sense. So you got to be careful. When I say black pepper, you just got to remind yourself, do I like that in a scent or not? I don't mind it. In scent, I like it really infused in the scent. I really like it to be a part of the scent, not just boom, black pepper to my nose. I don't like that. Now the grapefruit itself, let's tackle that. It's decent. It's what you come to expect from a designer scent. It's not going to be your next Pamplemousse from Guerlain, which is super authentic. It's going to blow your mind. No, the grapefruit, the authenticity of the grapefruit is just a synthetic grapefruit scent. It's fresh, it's pleasing, and it does the job, but it's not going to blow your mind. I did get just a pinch of bergamot in this opening also, which adds to the freshness of the fragrance. It's slightly there in the opening and then it's gone. So there's not that much bergamot in this fragrance, but it does add to some of the freshness in the opening. I would say the freshness was the major factor in this introduction. It does take over the opening of Blue Label more than the darker notes. You know, I talked a lot about black pepper. The pepper is going to, of course, be a major note, a major player in the dry down, a central note. But it does start off fairly as a secondary note in this introduction, and then it's going to come up, and it's going to keep coming up in the dry down. So let's get into the dry down. Into the dry down of Blue Label. The dry down keeps things fresh, which is really a nice touch. And I felt like that was the overall idea of this flanker with the House of Givenchy. They wanted a fresher, easier to wear fragrance with, of course, comparing it to the original I really think that they nailed it. They really did do it with this Blue Label. It's a fresher, easier to wear, really a signature scent worthy scent. You can wear it in the summer, almost all seasons. Now let's get back to the dry down. I'm going off, I'm tailing off here. The freshness is still alive and well, but starts fading here. So you're getting that sharp black pepper. I told you it was gonna morph up while it keeps darkening the scent here, and is your major player within a few hours. So you're gonna see a little bit more black pepper, a little less grapefruit. You're losing the bergamot, but you're going to add some more freshness. The lavender's coming in. Now I felt here the pepper at its climax of the dry down was just enough for my nose, and I want to make sure that I pinpoint that I'm not a huge fan of this note, but it has to be used well in a designer fragrance, and I felt it was here with Blue Label. The cedar, cardamom comes in. They did join the party late and kept the scent from being a little too fresh. It showed that it had some depth to it, and I did say that in my original review in 2009, that this is not just your stereotypical freshie. It actually had some depth to it with, of course, the cedar, the cardamom coming in. It showed also the cedar and vetiver combo gave this scent a slightly woody appeal that you're going to feel in the dry down. Now, the cedar, usually a huge note in a lot of fragrances, gives you that huge woody appeal. In this one, it was really faint. So just don't come to expect a huge vetiver or cedar note in here. It's more of a secondary in the background type of note, but it gave you a little bit of slightly a woody edge to the fragrance. Now the lavender. Now the lavender itself was kept at bay, which is a great thing. I don't like a huge piercing lavender note in fragrances. I really like that they actually put just a little bit of lavender in here. They put it in the background and kept it there to add some more freshness. Now you lose the bergamot, but you add the lavender. Now lavender, of course, gives you like a nice airy, clothes hanging, blowing in the wind kind of scent. Really a nice freshness when done well, or it smells like air fresheners and stuff like that when done really bad. In this fragrance, it was actually decent. I could stand it, and it added that freshness to the fragrance. And of course, you got some bolder notes now with cedar, vetiver, and the pepper against just the grapefruit, but you got that lavender helping with the freshness. So it stays fresh all the way through to this fragrance. Now, once the lavender kicks in, it felt like a clean, it has a synthetic tinge to it that could ruffle some noses. It had like that clean synthetic tinge to the scent. This paired with a very tame cedar vetiver combo with the grapefruit, a little bit of powder kicking in, and of course that huge kick of pepper felt a little strange at some times. I'm gonna tell you that, I'll be honest, but at the same time it did keep me interested in the scent. I really like that it kind of changed things up in the dry down a little bit. and you'll see in the dry down of this fragrance, it's not for everybody, but I really feel like they did a really good job of balancing the notes in this fragrance. Now, talking about all these notes, I just wanted to pinpoint again, the pepper and the grapefruit are going to be your major players throughout the fragrance. Now, these are your focal points in Blue Label. Now, the Olibanum, the incense, which I'm really excited about this note, every time I see it in a note breakdown, is slight to none in Blue Label. Unfortunately, it saddened me just a little bit. Still a great scent without the actual incense. I wish I had a little bit of smoke coming through with this fragrance. I did not get any of that. The chemistry between these notes was superb, and this is, I think, of the hand of Morealis. I really think that he does a great job blending things together. The chemistry between the notes, superb. It shows a good blend, a good balance of notes, and all the way through I could feel the transition. Really well done by Morealis. Now let's get into my final take. Now, my recommended age would have to be, this is fit for anybody, right down from your teenager right up to grandpa. Grapefruit infused fragrances, when grapefruit's a major player in a fragrance. Black pepper, yes, it has some edge to it, so you have to like black pepper. But other than that, this is a very versatile, signature scent-worthy fragrance. Really easy to wear, easy pleaser. So basically, anybody can wear it. Bottles. It just reminds me of the new age aquatics out there. It doesn't have any aquatic vibe to it, but really has that freshy, but also a little kick to it. Fragrances like Light Blue by Dolce & Gabbana kind of has that oomph to them. Acqua di Gio, these new freshies that have a little bit of depth to them, and they sell very well when they have a good depth to them, as you can see from the ones I've named off. But this doesn't really remind me of much because not a lot of fragrances have a huge grapefruit note with a black pepper paired with it. Really interesting. Now, awards, has it been in any of my top 20 lists? Yes, it has actually. This actually made a spring top 10 list back in 2010 and made it at number 6. I really do enjoy wearing this in the spring, especially when it's raining out. Just that kick of black pepper works very well in like a overcast day or a rainy day. But I like to wear this in the fall and the spring mostly. Best time to wear this fragrance, this is a daily wear scent, mostly work approved, school, daily wear. You can wear it casually. I really think that this one can be worn dressed up and dressed down. Very versatile scent also. Seasons, mainly, of course, spring and fall that I named off. You can wear this in summer. Works well in the summer. I tested it out in the heat. Works well in the heat. The black pepper doesn't really ruffle your nose that much when this thing gets heated up a little bit. And it does work a little bit in the winter also. The lack of longevity on it kind of hurts it in the winter, but really almost an all-season fragrance, but I mainly wear it in the spring and fall, to be honest with you guys. Compliment factor, this one, Blue Label, it's moderate. Again, I wrote down moderate just because it doesn't really speak out to a lot of people. It's just your stereotypical top-selling designer fragrance. You're going to get some compliments here and there, especially if you wear it, if it's your signature scent, you're going to get some compliments here and there. With your scent. Usually you're not getting an overabundance of it. I never got anybody asking me what I'm wearing, but I never got anybody saying, what you're wearing right now does not fit you. You stink. No, this is really an easy pleaser, so it's moderate. Now my final take, few thoughts on the fragrance. It's a Swiss Army knife of the Givenchy brand. I really think this is one of your Swiss Army knives from the brand. I could see the original play being a Swiss Army knife also, and probably Pie but this is really your stereotypical Swiss Army knife, almost all season long, easy to throw on, signature scent worthy, work or play. You can dress it up, dress it down. Really Swiss Army knife of the Givenchy brand. As you can tell, it was much higher in my grading scale. It made one of my top 10 lists back in my early YouTube years of 2009, 2010. That's when I first purchased this bottle. Yet, I still think this is an excellent scent from Givenchy, but at the same time, with so many choices in my stable, I felt like this one can be lost in the shuffle. There's a lot of times that I was looking for an easy to wear fragrance in the designer game. Sometimes I really just want to wear something easy to wear, just throw it on casually and go out. This one is one of those in my, if you got more than 20 bottles, this might get lost in the shuffle unless you wore it in your younger years and it kind of has like a soft spot in your heart. This one I could see that being one of those, like a signature scent for years and years for someone, but as far as when you have like a huge lineup, it might get lost in the shuffle, I'll be honest. Now, why would you love it and why would you hate it? Now, why would you love this fragrance? Easy to wear, that's got to be bonus points. It's versatile as hell. It has a classic vibe to it in a way. Givenchy always has this classic DNA in their fragrances, and this one also has it. It's signature scent worthy, so easy to wear is a huge reason why you would love it. If you like grapefruit in your scent and black pepper, you'll like this scent. Now, why would you hate this fragrance? Well, projection and longevity, I haven't tackled it yet, but they are on the lower side, I'll be honest with you guys. This is one of those scents that's kind of not going to be a beast on your skin. It has a generic feel to it, the grapefruit. I've seen that online. For me, I don't think this is a generic scent, so this is not my personal opinion, but I've seen it online because of the grapefruit and the lavender in this fragrance. It doesn't stand out that much. I think the black pepper kick is probably why it's unique. But I'll say it's kind of generic, and of course the black pepper is too sharp. Again, it depends on your nose, if you like it or you hate it. That all depends on you. So now let's get into the rating system. Let's rate this bad boy. I believe in my 2009 review I didn't have the rating system back then, but I rated it an 8 out of 10 back in 2009 as an overall score. So let's see if it keeps that 8, goes any higher, any lower. So let's get into it. Let's go split screen. Let's rate this sucker. Now, projection and longevity, as you can see, when I said and why would you hate this, it does lack. And as you can see beside me, it lacks. Projection, 5 bottles out of 10, guys. It's a mid to low projector. It's going to project in the first few hours, then it's basically a skin scent. It's going to be very hard for people to smell you from a distance. Longevity, 4 bottles. Again, it lacks in that category. It goes from longevity to 2 to 6 hours. It never went over 6 hours on my skin, ever. More sprays, doesn't help it. It just goes 2 to 6, keeps chugging. Most of the time it's like a 4 to 6 hour thing, but sometimes it really just disappears on my skin. So 2 to 6, 4 bottles out of 10. Now let's go into versatility and smell. Now, versatility does much better. Of course, it's a versatile signature scent worthy fragrance. I really think this one is an 8 bottles out of 10. Really good as a versatile scent. Smell. Now, overall smell, I think is above average. I really like the composition as far as what Morales did. He put everything together really, really well. I'm going to give it a 7 bottles out of 10. And that goes to an overall score. It had an 8 back in 2009. It is losing a mark. I'm giving it a 7 bottles out of 10. Does not mean you shouldn't check it out. You should definitely sniff this fragrance if you're a fan of Givenchy fragrances and it sounds like it's something interesting to you. I really think this is a winner in the designer game, and 7 bottles is actually decent. It's above average as far as my grading score goes to. And now let's go to buy, try, or pass. This fragrance must be. It can't be a must buy just because I don't think it stands out that much. It's not a pass because it's not a bad scent per se, and I'm very surprised that I'm the only one really reviewing the scent on YouTube. I'm going to give it a try. If it sounds interesting to you, you should get a sample. You shouldn't blind buy it, but I think you'll be pleasantly surprised with the overall structure of this fragrance. I really think they did a great job as far as that goes. So guys, hopefully you enjoyed my re-review on Blue Label. Again, as usual, comment below. Let me know if you own this bottle. You've owned it in the past. You've smelt it before. Let me know your thoughts on Blue Label. Was I right to give it 7 bottles out of 10? Is that an accurate score? Or would you give it a higher score, lower score? Let me know all that good stuff in the comments. Thanks for watching YouTube. Have a good one.